Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you how to make this pixel art. It makes a heart, so if people answer your custom questions correctly, it'll appear little bit by little bit. So this is a beginner project and you can follow along with me. If you have your own artwork that you made, this video should help you code that. But if you want to have this exact template and everything will look the same on your screen and mine, you can click on the link in the description below and you can follow along. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is come up here to the percentage, click on the arrow and change it to 75% so that I can see everything at once, and you can play around with that as well. Now I'm going to be writing my own questions, and you do that just by clicking on the box and typing into the box just like that. And then if you want to, you can adjust the color and font and all of that. But I'm just going to click and type, and we're also going to be answering the questions. And they do need to be questions that have one straight answer. So go ahead and write your questions and answer them. Once you have your questions and your answers filled in, it's time for us to start coding. Now, we are only going to be coding these boxes here, the answer boxes. So you don't need any of this anymore, and we're writing specific codes for each one of these boxes. When you code, you're really just telling the computer three things. You're going to tell the computer, obviously, what needs to be in the box. Right, so this box, there needs to be a 9 in it. If there's not a 9, I don't want the code to work. But if someone puts a 9, I want it to work. And this box needs a 10 in it. So that's one of the things that you're going to tell the computer in your code. You're going to tell it what the answer needs to be. And then the other thing you're going to tell the computer is just what box you're talking about. So it knows if I'm coding this box or this box or this box. To tell the computer what box you're talking about, you're just going to tell the computer the column and row of that box. Every single box on this spreadsheet has a name, and we name it using the column and row. Let's look at this one, for example. This one is in column B. And then if you come over here, these are a bit darker, it shades it for you. This is in column or row 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, it's in column B and rows 4, 5, 6, and 7. Well, to name the box, you're just going to use that 4, not the 5, 6, or 7. You use the first one. So this box is column B, row 4. This box is column B, row 8. Column B, row 12. So whatever box you're coding, you want to tell the computer the column and row so it knows what box you're talking about. And then you're just going to tell the computer what the answer to your question is in order for the code to activate. With that being said, let's look at the actual code itself. It's right down here, and I suggest writing it down. The code is equals $column, $row equals answer. So the equal sign and the dollar signs, you just have to type those. And then the column and row is what we were just talking about. So for this box, it's B9. And then the answer is the answer to your question. So the code for this box is going to be equals $B, that's the column, $row, or 4, equals 9. So equals $B, $4 equals 9. This one will be equals $B, $8 equals 10. And this one will be equals $B, $12 equals February. And if it's a word, you have to put quotes around it. I'll show you that in a sec. So that's how you write the code. Now let's go ahead and start. I'm going to open up the coding window. To do that, I click on Format, Conditional Formatting. And if you ever lose this window, that's how you open it back up. And you can see that it started a code with that 9 there. I am going to write a code for that 9 box, but I always like to start at the bottom and tell it what color I want it to turn. So let's see here. Let's do a little bit of this main red color. Not all of it, but a little bit. If I'm not sure which color it is, I can just kind of come over here and look. So let me click. There it is. It's the first custom color. Great. Now I want to come back and click on the box I'm coding. And here we go. So start at the bottom. First, tell the computer what box you want to turn, or what color you want to turn that box. That's the color I want. Now we're going to write that code we were just looking at. Click here, and I want you to scroll all the way to the bottom to custom formula is. Right there, that's where we'll write our code. Equals $B, $4. So that's me telling the computer it's this box, B4. Equals, and my answer is 9, and you'll put whatever your answer is. Now, keep this open, but I just want to show you, technically this code is successful right here. I told the computer, if there's a 9 in this box, turn it red, and if there's not a 9 in the box, don't turn it red. So like if there's a 4 in it, don't turn it red, but if there's a 9 in it, turn it red. The code works. But I want to just bring along some of these other pixels for the ride so that they also change color. So we'll open it back up. Here's our code. The last step is to come up here to apply to range. This is how many pixels do we actually want to turn red. Right now it's B4 and B7, which is this box. We're just going to add in some of these other boxes. To do that, click here. This window will pop up and we're going to click and drag it over to here. I want you to hold down Control, or if you have a Mac, you'll hold down Command. And then we're just going to start clicking on some of the other red pixels that we want to add to the code. The reason I'm holding down Control is because if I don't hold down Control, it won't let me click on a bunch of them. It'll start like replacing the ones before it. And I want to make sure I can get a bunch, including that original box there. So we don't want to lose that one. If you accidentally click on something you don't mean to, like that one, it's not really that big of a deal because it's all shades of red. But you can unclick it and it'll take it off like that. Okay. When you're finished, you're going to take your finger off of Control or Command, and you have to do 3 steps. Step 1 is to hit OK on the range, saying that we're good with all these pixels we chose. Step 2 is to hit Done on this code. Step 3 is super important and easy to forget. We need to come up to the paint bucket and click Reset. Now everything's still selected, so let's click off of it. And we're going to test this out. So come up to this box and hit Delete or Backspace to take the 9 out. The pixels should disappear. Now put the 9 back in. Nothing happens until you click off of it. That's just the way these pixel arts are. So you got to click off of it. Everything comes back. That's awesome. Before I go on to my next one, I'm going to take the 9 out again because otherwise I might click on the same ones over and over again and that would be a waste of time. So I want my heart to be disappearing as I go. And you can see I have this box selected. The code is there. I did not delete it. I just deleted the 9. But that code is there, so if I ever want to open it and mess with it, I can. Now we're going to click down on the next one, and there's no code because I haven't coded this box, and that's what we'll do next. Let's pick a color. So I think I want to do a little bit of the dark red. I'm not going to do it all because there's a lot of questions and not a lot of colors. So if I do all of the red, I'm going to run out. But let me look at this color real quick so I know where to find it. All right. Now click on the box you actually want to code. We are not writing codes for these boxes. We are only writing codes for these big boxes. So we want to make sure we've got this selected. And then click Add Another Rule. If you close this, you can open it the same way that we did before. All right, we're going to start at the bottom again. First, pick the color you want it to turn. Now click here and scroll all the way down to Custom Formula Is. Here we're going to write our code. We're telling the computer the column and the row of this box and what the answer to our question is. In my case, it's 10. So equals $B, that's the column, $8, that's the row, equals 10, that's the answer. Technically the code works, but we do want to add to the range so that some of these other pixels are part of it. I will click here, drag this over, and I'm going to hold down Control or Command. I want to keep that 10 box selected. It's already selected, but I'm holding down Control so I don't lose it because that is part of the code. And I'm just clicking on a few of these pixels. There we go. lift up on control, and do your 3 steps. Try to remember what that 3rd step is. That's the tricky one. So we hit OK on the range, done on the code, and then paint bucket, reset. Let's click off of it and test it. Come up here, hit backspace or delete. Pixels disappear. Test both of them, and then your whole heart should be there. There it is. We don't want to get confused about what we've clicked and what we haven't, so we'll take the 9 and 10 out, but you'll notice over here on the right as I click that those codes are still there. All right, for our next one, let's do a little bit of this light pink, not all of it, but we'll do a little bit. It's the 3rd one in. Okay, now make sure you click on the box you actually want to code, which is this one. Come over and click Add Another Rule. I'll start at the bottom, and I'm going to tell the computer that I want it to turn this pink. Now we'll write the code. Come down to custom formula is equals $B, that's the column of this box, $12 equals February. Now, you may remember me saying that if it's a word, you have to do an extra step. You have to put quotation marks around it, like that and that. So quotation marks just like someone would use if people are speaking to each other in a book. And you can see it turned pink, which means the code works. Okay, there's our code. Now we'll come up to range, slide this over, hold down Control or Command, and I'm not going to select all the pinks because I just don't have that many colors. So I'll just select a little bit of them. There we go. Now do your 3 steps. Hit OK on the range, done on the code, and reset the paint bucket. Click off of it, test it, and then we'll see our whole heart up here. So far I've done a little bit of each color except for that medium red, or I guess I called it light red. It's this one here. And if you do have any trouble seeing the colors, some of them are kind of shaded for an artistic reason, but if you mix some of them up, it really doesn't matter that much because they're all shades of red, so it's still going to look nice when you're finished, so don't worry too much about it. Let's see what shade this is. If we come up to our paint bucket, it's the 2nd one. Okay, now I'm going to click on the box I'm actually coding, which is the Mercury Box, and click Add Another Rule. Coming down, I'm going to select the color I want it to turn. And now I'm going to click on Custom Formula Is, and I'll write my code telling the computer the column and row of this Mercury Box, telling the computer that someone has to put the word Mercury in it in order for the code to work. Equals $B, let's see here, that one's 16. Equals Mercury, and I need to put Mercury in quotes because it's a word. If it were a number, I wouldn't have to do that. Code is done, but I need to pick some pixels to put in it. So drag this over, Mercury Box is still selected, hold down Control, and I'm going to click on some of these pixels, leaving about half of them behind. Now we'll do my 3 steps. OK on the range, done on the code, and reset the paint bucket. There we go. At this point, I still have my 4 colors left because I didn't do it all. So I have dark red, red, light red, and pink. I have 5 questions left, so I'm going to keep going, but if I did, let's say, all the dark red, all the red, all of the light red, and all of the pink, the entire heart would appear here, and I'd still have 1 question left. So I'm going to split up one of the colors so that I finish on time. I'm going to split up this red because it's the biggest. So I'm going to do this color over 2 questions. So I'll do like red, like half the red, then I'll do all of the dark red, all of the light red, all of the pink, and then the rest of the red. I'm going to speed up the video now, and then we'll check in at the end, and we'll see how it looks. So let's go ahead and put our answers in and see how it looks. Okay, here we go. And there's our finished heart. You can also close this window over here. So I hope this is helpful and fun for you. Pixel art, it can seem pretty hard at first, and then once you get into the swing of it, it'll get a lot easier, but we usually do make a lot of mistakes the first time, so just know that, and that if you stick with it, it's really worth it. This video here has 5 mistakes, like I was saying, that you can watch. It'll kind of help you, and it'll show you step by step of how to fix them. And then if you want to get this exact heart, click on the link in the description, and you can code it along with me, and everything will look exactly the same as what you've seen. So let me know if you have any questions, and happy coding.